Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tearing down a genuinely fascinating startup pitch deck that goes after a totally massive shift in how the internet operates. Just imagine, for a second, if an entire nation's digital life was suddenly brought completely in-house. Well, we're looking at BharatPath. There are companies stepping up to build a fully sovereign digital ecosystem literally from the ground up. Okay, let's dive right into this. Picture this. 1.4 billion people. That represents a massive $5 trillion target economy. But here's the core problem they've identified in this pitch deck. This staggering, massive ecosystem, it's currently running almost entirely on foreign digital rails. I mean, everything from daily navigation to enterprise cloud storage relies heavily on outside infrastructure.
To understand how BharatPath plans to fix this, we're going to unpack their roadmap. We'll cover India's digital sovereignty crisis, the sovereign stack solution, a look inside their product ecosystem, their traction and opportunity, and finally, how they're building the future stock. Let's get to it.
All right, part one, India's digital sovereignty crisis. So the really crucial point here is just how dependent India's digital ecosystem is on outside infrastructure. The founders are arguing that this foreign reliance creates some pretty systemic vulnerabilities. Just look at the contrast they're drawing. Today, major mapping services can completely fail in rural areas, or they lack native language support, and critical AI data is mostly processed offshore. But BharatPath proposes a totally different reality. Offline-capable maps serving 650 million rural users, and a localized AI stack where strict compliance keeps your data safely within the country's borders. It's a huge shift. And this brilliantly illustrates why timing is absolutely everything for them. The deck emphasizes this super narrow 12 to 24-month window to capture the market. So why the rush? Well, you've got a massive surge to over 900 million internet users expected by 2026, alongside some strict new data protection laws enforcing local storage. Add in the government's push for self-reliance, and you've basically got a perfect storm for domestic disruption.
Which brings us to part two, the sovereign stack solution. To solve this sprawling digital crisis, BharatPath is proposing what they call the BharatStack. The company claims their absolute core competitive edge is building this to be AI native from day one, not just bolted on later as an afterthought. Plus, it's sovereign by design. That means zero foreign dependency, ensuring that citizen, enterprise, and government data stays securely locked within Indian borders. They've actually laid out this really brilliant, unified Russian doll architecture. At the very top, you have the access layer. Those are the entry points, like their browser and maps. Underneath that sits the intelligence layer, anchored by their own large language models. And finally, right at the foundational level is the application layer, encompassing cloud, mail, and chat. It's a highly cohesive strategy, meant to seamlessly link every single digital touchpoint together. Moving on to part three, inside the product ecosystem. So, how does this ambitious architecture actually translate to the real world? Well, first up is their Maps API, and it's not just some distant idea. It's actually live right now. It directly targets the gaps left by global competitors, featuring robust offline capabilities for rural users and support for 22 regional languages. But the real kicker? They're offering it to developers at a highly disruptive price point, just a fraction of a rupee per API call. That is incredibly cheap. Next up in their lineup is the prototype for Bharat Browser. You can think of this as a privacy-first, ad-free portal explicitly tailored for the next 500 million Indian internet users. What makes it incredibly unique is its native integration with government platforms like Aadhaar and DigiLocker. Oh, and it has an AI assistant built right into the interface to help users navigate the whole thing.
Finally, we have Bharat AI. While it's currently in active R&D, the plan is for this to be an on-premise, fully multilingual large language model. The ultimate goal here is to create a secure intelligence engine that processes data without any foreign cloud intervention whatsoever. It's basically built to power their entire ecosystem right from the inside out. Let's look at part four, traction and the opportunity. Now, a grand architecture is amazing on paper, right? But how is a completely bootstrapped startup from Kanpur actually performing out in the wild? Well, according to their deck, they've achieved some pretty significant early traction. They've already onboarded over 100 developers to their Live Maps API, and they've initiated active enterprise pilots across a bunch of diverse sectors. We're talking logistics fleets, edtech startups, and even actual government dialogues for state GIS mapping. And the target they are aiming at is absolutely massive. We are looking at a $300 billion total addressable market. Breaking down that pie, the largest slice, a whopping 40%, is dedicated just to filling the AI infrastructure vacuum. That's followed closely by cloud services and digital ads. So yeah, the financial incentive to become the domestic default is incredibly high. So how exactly are they going to capture that value? They're actually projecting a 50 crore rupee pipeline for year one, driven by 5 distinct revenue streams. You've got highly scalable API usage fees, steady enterprise SaaS subscriptions, and a 5,000 rupee monthly enterprise license. Combining all of these with high-value custom government contracts ensures they have multiple diversified paths to revenue.
And finally, Part 5, Building the Future Stack. Looking ahead, the company plans to leverage a 2 crore rupee pre-seed funding round to execute this super intense 18-month roadmap. It follows a highly strategic 4-step method. Step 1 is land, capturing initial users with maps and the browser. Step 2 is expand, moving horizontally into cloud, mail, and chat. Step 3 is building a protective moat through AI and data network effects. And finally, Step 4 is to distribute widely through established government channels like citizen service kiosks. If they pull this off, this roadmap would theoretically expand their ecosystem from 3 core offerings today to a truly breathtaking suite of 11 platforms. They are projecting everything from Bharat Mail and Bharat Chat to a video platform called BharatTube and even Web3 infrastructure. Frankly, it is an audacious blueprint to create a sovereign Indian alternative to nearly every major global tech service on the planet. Which brings us to the ultimate question we really have to ask after going through all this. Can a bootstrapped startup successfully take on trillion-dollar global tech giants to build an entire nation's default digital stack? I mean, the regulatory tailwinds are absolutely at their back, and the market vacuum is clearly defined. But execution at this scale, that is the ultimate test. So what do you think? Is the future of your internet destined to be truly sovereign? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.